Raghavara Sodawat. Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me okay? My name is Raghavara Sodabatina. I'm a principal solutions architect at AWS. I've been with AWS 5.5 years. Welcome to SageMaker for Industries overview session. I am from Boston, Massachusetts. Can you type in the chat, where are you from? Oh, I see somebody says hello. Okay. I just want to set the objective of SageMaker for Industries bi-weekly series. This is our first inauguration session where we are going to talk about high-level features and functions to build industry-specific solutions by using next generation of Amazon SageMaker. And then every alternate week, we start this session at the same time, where we start with a industry business problem, and then we'll have a solution, and each solution comes with a live demo so that you can see the demo, all pieces are working together. And then we will take some questions at the end, and then we'll also share the technical artifact could be a AWS workshop, or it could be a AWS blog, or it could be AWS solution or GitHub solution, so that you have something to go and play around with the solution, and you can customize with your own business problem. With this, we have two guests here. Taz, can you introduce yourself and how long you have been with AWS? How do you find working with AWS?
Sure. Thank you, Raghav. And before I move on, I see a few folks responding from New Jersey and Kenya. Hello, everyone. I'm Taz. I'm from Dallas, Texas. I am hello from Italy as well. Wow, nice. So yeah, I'm Taz. I'm from Dallas, Texas. I'm the worldwide tech leader for AWS Analytics. Been with AWS. I actually just wrapped up 9 years at AWS. So people tell me in dog years, that's about 75. So I'm pretty old that way. Working at AWS, right? I think some of you may have heard the expression, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. That's pretty much how I feel working at AWS. So that's where I'm at. And besides AWS, what else do? I do quite a few extracurriculars. I am very interested in cricket. I play cricket quite a bit. I like to stay fit. Fitness is also one of my passions. And yeah, most recently I discovered that I can actually shake a leg, trying a little bit of dancing. So that's who I am. Good to meet you all.
Taz, you're a good dancer. We've seen you very well. Okay, so Raghu, can you introduce yourself and can you talk about how long you've been with AWS and how do you find working with AWS?
Absolutely. Thank you, Raghu, for having me. I hope I'm coming out loud and clear. This is Raghu from Boston. I am in the same office as Raghav. Been with AWS coming up 10 years. So, you know, if you are in one place for this long of a time, then you must be having some fun. So I like I like working at AWS. No 2 days are the same, and that just keeps you, I guess, on your toes. I've spent majority of my time launching products for AWS. What's my title here? I do mostly go to market for data and AI services on AWS, which again is a lot of fun. What do I do for fun? I box. That keeps me, I guess, pretty calm. It can get stressful, so that's one of the ways I cope with it. And I'm really looking forward to today's session. Thanks for having us, Raghav.
Thank you, Raghu. So I just want to summarize how we are going to spend the rest of the time. We'll have like a 3-section. The first section, where we are going to have a few questions about in and around Amazon SageMaker. What are the key features of Amazon SageMaker? How they can utilize for building a industry-specific solution. And then Raghu is going to show some demo illustrating more about those features and functions, how you can use to solve your industry-specific business problem. And then section 3, where we'll have Taz can explain about a little bit more about Amazon SageMaker for Industries program. He's a program sponsor, and he can talk about what is the objective of this series, how it can help, and what you're going to bring in upcoming series. And at the end, right, if time permits, we will take a few questions as well. Again, we want everyone to interact with us, use the chat. You can always ask any questions. I'll be watching the chart. So with that, let's get into the setting the context for next generation of Amazon SageMaker. Raghu, this question to you. What is the next generation of Amazon SageMaker? How it differs from old or existing SageMaker? There's a lot of confusion about it. Can you elaborate a bit more?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the SageMaker brand is not a new brand. We have had the SageMaker brand, I would say, coming up 6 years at least, maybe even more. When we released the SageMaker set of capabilities, it was predominantly just machine learning, okay? Until 2024 reInvent, which was our last reInvent. If you hear about SageMaker, you would think machine learning, okay? The brand did really well for machine learning. It was a very popular brand. We did quite well. And no one does machine learning in silo, right? To get to machine learning, you have to do other things before you get to machine learning, such as analytics, SQL, data prep, lake houses. So we decided that we will enhance the SageMaker brand to be more than just machine learning. And now it's a variety of things. It is the center for all data, analytics, and AI for our customers. So we basically took the brand that was just machine learning and we just blew it up to include all things data. And what I would love to do today is to basically demonstrate some of those capabilities to you live, so you kind of see how this brand has transformed from just being machine learning to include a variety of other features and functions.
Thank you, Raghu. Raghu, can you talk a little bit more about what are the capabilities of Amazon SageMaker that can help building a data and AI solution so that customers can accelerate quickly?
Sure. So like I said, we took an existing brand, which was predominant ML, and we enhanced it, which we did that last reInvent, okay? And I don't have a slide on this, and I won't go so deep into it that I would lose you, all right? So the new Amazon SageMaker, or we call it, sometimes the next generation SageMaker, it has 3 layers to this, okay? At the bottom layer, we have SageMaker Lakehouse architectures, all right? And what that means is Lakehouse architectures are very popular these days, right? Everyone's sort of doubling down on Iceberg. And we released a lot of managed capabilities for lakehouses last reInvent, and we are calling it SageMaker Lakehouse. So definitely go check that out. That's at the bottom of our SageMaker stack. And on top of that, on top of lakehouses, we have data governance. The narrative there is if you are going to have lakehouses at scale, then you would need data governance capabilities at scale as well. So on top of lakehouses, we have data governance. I will show some of the data governance capabilities to you, time permitting, such as business data catalogs, searching, discovering data, maybe even requesting access to data. Let me show you a little bit about how data governance works within the new SageMaker. So that's kind of like the middle tier. And at the very top, we have SageMaker Unified Studio, which is the UI, okay? So at the very top, we have the SageMaker Unified Studio. And what we have done is we have brought a lot of features and functions that our users would want to work with data, okay? So remember what I said a few minutes ago. The SageMaker brand used to be predominantly ML. So the next gen SageMaker, the new SageMaker we have, obviously does ML. And in addition to that, it does a lot of different things. You can build ETL pipelines. You can build data pipelines. You can do SQL. You can also do generative AI chatbot building. You can build data governance practice in the new SageMaker. So as you can see, what we did here is we enhanced the brand and we gave it a lot of features and functions. So our customers have just one service, one UI that they can go to, that they can use when they are working with data on AWS.
Thank you, Raghu. So what you're saying, like you have tools for all kind of data personas. Let's
That's
say
right.
if business analysis is coming, they have some tools as well as data analysis, data engineer, data scientist, machine learning engineer. You have a tools which can accelerate the data and AI solution development with Amazon SageMaker Input Studio.
That's exactly right. You just need one studio. It
Okay.
shouldn't matter what your user persona is. And to kind of reiterate, Raghav, data analyst, BI analyst, machine learning scientist, data engineer, use SageMaker Unified Studio, and that's the only studio you would need.
Thank you, Raghu. So what you're saying is like, let's say there are different people from an organization, if they are working on a common business problem, how they can collaborate with code and data, how
That's
the
right.
SageMaker Input Studio will help.
That's right, and I'd love to show you some of those things. Then even talking through that, maybe it's better shown than spoken.
Yeah. Thank you, Raghu. Why can't you get into the little bit of demo?
Demo mode. Okay, silent prayer to the demo gods. Can you see my screen actually?
Yeah, we can see your screen
Yeah.
now.
Love it. Okay, so here's SageMaker Unified Studio. I'm already logged in, okay, in the interest of time, so you don't see me typing passwords. I'm already logged in, and my identity here in SageMaker Unified Studio is my corporate identity, okay? So let's assume it's raghu@amazon.com. That's my identity in Unified Studio. The way you would be logging in would be through your corporate, SSO functionality that's already there. A lot of customers use Okta, Ping, right? Azure AD. So you can use those services to log yourselves into SageMaker Unified Studio. Again, to reiterate, the identity here is your user identity, which is your corporate identity. Okay, so I'm logged into SageMaker Unified Studio. There are a lot of things you can do within Unified Studio. So I'm going to just kind of walk you through some of the menu options. Think of this as I pulled up the blueprint of a very large house, okay? And I'm just walking you through the map and pointing at all the different rooms you have in this big giant house, okay? So I'll just do a quick, walkthrough of all the menu options that we have. And then we're going to go into, a lot of these menu options and see them in action, okay? So first of all, within SageMaker Unified Studio, we expect our customers to write code. Okay, so we have Jupyter Lab, a managed Jupyter Lab functionality built into Unified Studio. We're going to click on this and we're going to go into it. Okay, then we have Query Editor. SQL is everyone's business. All right, so you would need a way to write your SQL, look at the data sets in a way that's going to make you very productive. So we have a SQL editor functionality built into Unified Studio. A cool point to note is, as you can imagine, you can also use Jupyter Lab to write SQL. So you don't have to bounce between writing PySpark code in Jupyter Lab and then having to bounce into Query Editor. You don't have to do that. If you just prefer doing absolutely everything in Jupyter Lab, including SQL, that's fine. Go ahead.
Raghu, there is a question. Can we track data lineage?
Let's do this. The answer is yes. Let me just go through this for about 10 minutes and we'll take a pause.
Okay.
And we'll do this in 10-minute increments.
Okay.
So we have the query editor. We have visual ETL, so drag and drop. If you don't want to code and you just want to use the drag and drop functionality and develop your jobs that way, you can. You can use the visual ETL tool functionality in Unified Studio. And we're going to click on that and we're going to explore that a little bit. Workflows, and I'm skipping through some menu options because it's minor detail, okay? You don't want this demo to be too pedantic. You want this demo educational. So I'm going to skip over some menu options in the interest of time and making it most useful to you. Orchestration, anything and everything that you do with data. You're building a pipeline, okay? Even if it is taking a notebook and scheduling it for that notebook to run at 6 a.m. every day, that's a pipeline, okay? So most folks, when they are working with data in some shape or form, they are building pipelines, okay? So we got orchestration capabilities also built into Unified Studio. The underlying engine for orchestration is MWAA, which is Apache Airflow, which is quite nice. And then down here, we have machine learning capabilities. Of course, this is SageMaker, right? So you would expect SageMaker to do machine learning because it always did machine learning. We'll start here, model development, Jumpstart. For folks who know SageMaker for a long time, you know what this is. So we have off-the-shelf models and even custom models that you can just find and start using right away. Training, inferencing, HyperPod, some of the very authentic SageMaker functionality that has been there for years. We basically carried that over into this next-gen SageMaker. MLflow, extremely popular. So we have MLflow functionality built in, including model registry, model evaluation as well. We're not stopping there. We got generative AI functionality also built into Unified Studio. Many customers like the ability to build very quick and simple chatbots. Okay, it's one of the ways customers are exploring generative AI is to go here, all low code, no code, by the way. Okay, you're going to see that low code, no code is one of the very central themes for SageMaker Unified Studio, including a code-driven experience. So if you want to get into generative AI chatbot building, mode, you can do that. We have functionality there as well. And we also have some partner AI app integrations, although this is at the moment limited to AI partners. Okay. So at a very high level, I'm just sort of like zooming at this from 30,000 feet. I'm telling you, you have low code, no code functionality. You have code driven functionality. You can do SQL. You can do Python, PySpark, Scala. You can build data pipelines. You can do machine learning, and you can do generative AI applications as well. But there is more, not to sound like a corny salesman. Remember, I kind of, when I explained SageMaker, right, I told you it is a 3-layer cake. Okay, at the bottom we have the lakehouse, then we have data governance, and at the very top you have Unified Studio. Today, we're not going to get into the lakehouse so much because that in itself is a good solid hour. Maybe we can do that next time. But the second and the third layers, are built, into Unified Studio to a point where I can actually shows these things working. We have a business data catalog. Would love to kind of click around and show that. And then we also have functionality so our customers can build sophisticated business ontologies and taxonomies using business glossaries. Not sure if you guys are familiar with it. And also metadata collection forms. It gets very data governance-y here, but the point here is data governance functionality is also built into Unified Studio. Before I click out of this and go into some of the specifics, Raghav, are there any questions?
No, I think pretty much you talked about data lineage. Maybe you can cover as you progress into the demo.
Sure, sounds good. Okay, now let's go into the actual workings of what this thing can do. We have this concept of a project. Okay, you can see these are my projects. What's a project? Okay, it's actually a very simple concept. Projects are not new when it comes to development overall. I used a lot of Eclipse and even VS Code, and in there we always create a project which is nothing more than a logical container of files, and we connect that project to like a Git repo, and you can add your team members into the project. So it is nothing but just a logical container, a grouping of files, and your team, and you just sort of collaborate in this logical structure that we call a project. Same exact thing, but on steroids. So I clicked on a project. Okay, I'm looking at one of these projects, and it looks like a lot like a Git homepage, and that's kind of intentional. So now that I have maybe vaguely explained what a project is, collection of files, I got my files, it's connected to a code repo. I have my team members, added into my project, so we are all working together. But what sets this slightly apart from a regular project like an Eclipse project is you wouldn't be using this to develop a web application. Okay, you can use Eclipse and VS Code to develop a web application. You also write PySpark code, also do SQL. You wouldn't be using this to develop a web application. You would be using SageMaker Unified Studio to work with data. Okay, you're working with data, and this is built with that in mind. Okay, when you're working with data, it's not as simple. You need access to compute resources. You need Spark endpoints. You need SQL endpoints, maybe even a data warehouse behind that SQL endpoint. Working with data is you need ML endpoints. Hey, I think you kind of get the point. You need sophisticated compute infrastructure resources that you have access to work with data. So what we have done, so in my project, I have some access to those compute resources easily. Okay, And there is a ton behind this. Self-service provisioning is one of the biggest tenets that we have in SageMaker Unified Studio. Maybe another time, maybe like an advanced conversation. But when I'm in a project or when I create a project, I get some default compute as part of my project, which is nice. So you start working quickly. And all of this experience can be fully customized by our customers. Maybe you are a heavy Athena customer. And so you provision more Athena type resources. Maybe you're a Redshift type customer. You provision Redshift resource. You can control all these different things. But let me click around. Data warehouse. I have a Redshift endpoint provisioned. But let's assume I just need something more. I don't have to go into the console. I can create more, Redshift resources just right here if I want to. Okay. Same thing with data processing. Okay. Glue is built in, and I'll show that to you. Glue just comes automatic. Athena comes for folks who know what these things are, right? Athena is our serverless SQL. Glue is our serverless Spark. The SQL functionality and the Spark functionality from Athena and Glue, respectively, is built in, and think of it as ambiently available to you. Okay, you don't have to do extra additional things to provision them. They are right there. Which is this? This is ambient Spark. It's there for you, completely shut down because I'm not doing anything. It may say active because it's there, but it's not running. Okay, it's completely serverless. But let's assume I need more. I need something else. I have access to add compute. Again, I don't have to go to see. I can pick a fancy EMR, cluster and start working with that as part of my compute. So I'm in a project. I have access to compute. And few other things. I think you kind of get the point. If you're familiar with what Hyperpod is, you can provision, Hyperpod clusters here. And I'm not an ML guy, okay? And that will easily come through in my demo. ML flow tracking server, like I said, extremely popular. You can provision ML flow tracking server within the project. Again, let's assume Raghav and I and Taz are part of a project. You can control who can do what. Taz is a leader. Okay, maybe Taz is the only person who can actually create compute in our project, and Raghav and I, we are consumers. We just use these compute resources. So you can sort of fine-grain control who can do what, so that way you don't have people just provisioning random stuff. Okay, we're going to keep going. So that's what a project is. It's a container of files, people, compute, and even data. All right. So let's look at data, and we're going to run some queries too. All right. So we're going to look at, I got some data here. Okay. In my lakehouse, I have a lakehouse, and I just created a bunch of tables. It's really easy to do that. Click here and you can even just upload files if you want. What I did is I used Faker for, I don't know how many people are familiar with Faker. You can use Faker library to create a bunch of, realistic looking fake data. Okay. So which is what I did. And I created about 6 tables and I uploaded them, and we have some lakehouse tables that we can use to query. These tables are also part of my project, which means my project members can use all this data. Okay, they have access to all that compute, and they have access to all the files, all the source files. So if Raghav, Taz, and I are working on a project, I think you get the picture. We can just collaborate. We have access to all these resources. And if we bring in a 4th member into the project, they too will have access to all these resources. Okay, so you don't have to constantly keep provisioning resources as you add and remove people from a project, which can get quite painful. So all of the permissioning just gets managed through the project construct to all this data. All right, we gotta move a little faster, which we will do. So I have all these tables, and let's assume we're going to just start querying some of this data. Okay, so I can few ways of doing this. I can create a notebook. I can preview data here as well. But what we are going to do is we're going to go into our build menu, and we'll click on the query editor functionality. And just gotta. Okay, so I'm in a query editor. I can run some queries. I got my tables here. I can run some queries, but I'm just really lazy, which in real life too. So what I'm going to do is I am going to have generative AI write the queries that I want. Okay, so you will see this all across my demo is I just use Amazon Q, which is the world's best generative AI companion, to do most of the work for me. Okay. And if you're seeing my screen, I'm just saying, write me a SQL, very vague prompt to get top 7 stocks in the last 5 days. I'm not telling Q which table to use, which columns, none of that. Here are all my tables. Q is paying attention. It is always learning. Okay. It knows about my metadata. It knows about the columns, and it is learning all the time how these tables are used. So I can be as vague as I want. And let's just see if it knows which tables to pick and which columns to query. And by the way, I must have mentioned, this is I created like a stock market, finance, bank type data. Okay, so there are some economic indicators, bonds, stocks, that type of data. This first query always takes just a little bit. For a hot second, I was worried if I ran out of my free tier. Okay, maybe I should do something. So cleaning up my screen, here's my query. And if you just pay attention to this, it picked a table for me, which is the right table, stock market historical data. It knows I'm looking for the best stocks, so ticker symbol. Like I said, I'm lazy. So my closing price is string. So it's converting it into a double, which it should. And even my date is string, and it is smart enough to do a bit of a date conversion for me as well. And I asked for top 7, and it is doing that. So let's do another one, okay? But this time we're going to do something different. We're going to go and we're going to build a PySpark application, okay? You can pick your runtime engines here. It's pretty fancy, You can pick PySpark, Scala, SQL, local Python. I think you kind of get the picture. Again, Amazon Q is following me. It is ready to help me, and I continue to be extremely lazy. So I want a PySpark script. I will read out the prompt so you don't have to like squint too much. I'm just saying, write me a PySpark script to read a table called daily transactions from Snowflake. Why not? Drop a column called daily rate, rename a column from weekly status to monthly status, whatever, and write the new table to both S3 and Redshift. Pretty decent prompt. Doing a lot of things, doing some ETL transformations as well. And at the same time, I'm being really vague because, I'm just not taking the time to even write a decent prompt. And Q is coming through for me, and it is telling me, because I'm vague. I'm really vague.
So Raghu, what you're saying here as a business analyst, if I don't know anything about SQL, I can just use the queue to generate the query for me and get into the insights quickly.
That's right. Exactly. Your NLP SQL is, that problem's largely solved now. It has always been a very big problem to solve, is show how to do good SQL, teach the users about the data, the columns, and much of that work is being offloaded to a bot. And that just kind of keeps you a lot more productive. So I got my PySpark script. It's giving me some instructions here because I did not give the Redshift URL or the Snowflake URL or any of that. So it's prompting me to fill in all this different information. So my PySpark script will compile and be actually useful. Okay, we're going to do one more. We're going to go to, so we looked at Jupyter Lab. It's Jupyter Lab. Everyone knows Jupyter Lab. Query editor. We're going to click on visual ETL flows. Okay, so we'll just go there for a quick second. Okay. So this is our visual ETL. Let's assume you are a low code, no code persona, like a BI analyst. Okay. And you want to do some rudimentary data transformation. Actually, this thing can do more than just rudimentary, but I'm just being very polite. You can pick your data source. You can pick your data target, source and target, and you can pick your transformations that happen between your source and target. What's not to love? So you can drag and drop these things onto the canvas, but I'm lazy. So what I will do is I'm just gonna put in the same prompt. I'm gonna put in the same prompt I put in in Jupyter Lab. I'm gonna just put in the same prompt and see if this can develop a canvas-based experience for me. Drag and drop, okay? Like I said, I'm even just too lazy to drag and drop. Here it is. I got my Snowflake. I read from preview is not going to work because there is no connection string. So yeah, but I can fill in my connection strings here, drop columns, rename columns, and then I'm writing to S3. Obviously, it is telling me fill in all these details, and I'm writing to Redshift as well. Okay, so it is telling me what to fix. It is showing me visually what I'm trying to do. And then here's my PySpark script. And you know how much this cost me? It will definitely cost me for the prompt, the Q prompt, there is charge for Q. But to use the canvas and any of that, no charge. This completely open source compatible PySpark script you got to this, not paying anything. Okay. If you run it, sure, you will pay for that, but you're not really paying for anything to use the canvas or any of that. Like I said, if you have a Q subscription, that will cost you a pretty penny, but outside of that, there is a lot of free stuff in Unified Studio. Yeah, this is just yelling at me that I got to fill in some configurations. I think you kind of get the point. Okay. How much time do we have, Raghav? I want to be conscious here. Like 5 minutes?
Yeah, Raghu, you can take another 5 minutes, but I wanted to bring up a few questions on the screen.
Okay.
So cover them. The one is like, I'm showing on the screen.
Oh,
Can
data
you,
lineage. Okay,
yeah,
let's just do data lineage.
yeah. And then Raghu, can you wait one more second?
Yeah, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Also, when you're covering data governance, does SageMaker provide an option to scan metadata automatically, technical and business metadata? That is another question related to data governance. Maybe if you can cover both of them in data governance demo, that would be awesome.
Let's try and do that as quickly as possible. So let me just finish one last thing, okay? We have workflows built. So I want to package my demo as I go. So you wrote a SQL script, you wrote a PySpark script, you wrote another PySpark script, although low code, no code, and you may want to build workflows out of it. So we have MWAA, which is one of our managed Airflow services built into SageMaker Unified Studio. Okay, there are really two ways of doing this. You can write a script, which is like a Python script. Most people, do that. Or low code, no code. Okay, and again, I'm going to skip the demo. You can use Q here to build the DAG for you. All right, so you don't have to drag and drop. So you can just use Q, build the DAG, or you can write the code. I think you kind of get the point. So Apache Airflow functionality built in, code-driven experience, low code, no code experience. You can simply, and I'm going to skip that in the demo. If you have a job and you just want to schedule it at 6 a.m., whatever daily schedule, there is a nice little screen that we have developed. You can just fill in the information and that will create the DAG for you as well. All right, let's do some data governance stuff. Data governance capabilities also built into SageMaker Unified Studio. I know I've said that a few times. So what's the point of a business data catalog? The job of a business data catalog is to help our customers document their data. There are two kinds of customers. One, they like to document all their data. Good luck, but they do that. It's amazing. Then there is the other kind of customers. They like to document their most important data, and you'd be surprised. Less than 10% of your organization's data would be deemed important. All right, less than 10%. It's more like 3 to 4. So if you are on the other camp, then you may not document any more than 10,000 tables. Okay, so let's search and discover some data here. I think I have some shipping data. Okay, here we go. I have some shipping data in my catalog. Okay, I have annotated it. Annotation is adding explanation. Okay, all of this is in the index, so you can search and discover. Okay, very cool. Lineage. How much lineage? There is lineage. I just did not spend the time in building like this really super elaborate lineage, but it has pretty decent functionality, and more will come. By reInvent, we will have a deluge of lineage functionality updates that will come like in December, and this will get a lot better. But yes, we have lineage, open lineage compatible. You can call APIs. You can add your own transformations to this. You can have a ton of fun. We also have data quality as part of this. It's usually the other part of the question. I just don't have it here. Okay, but data quality fully built in, and I should really kind of spend the time, have it part of my demo. You get a nice graph, how good your quality is. And you can also subscribe to this asset. Then a request will be sent, and then you can get access to this data. There was another question, and I haven't spent too much time doing this. The question was, is it possible to bring in metadata automatically from like other sources? Yes, you can. You can create a data asset, and you can. Let's assume there is a glue data catalog, okay? There is a glue data catalog and you have 10,000 tables. But you don't want to bring all 10,000 tables. You want to bring in maybe 500 tables. You can do that. So you can connect to that glue data catalog or Redshift. And then more connections are coming. I don't want to say something that's in the roadmap that's not true on a live call. So you can connect to data sources. You can do some pattern matching. Let's assume you just want to bring in shipping data. So you can go SH star. Okay, now you're just bringing all tables with shipping data into Unified Studio and you can publish them to the catalog. There was another question, was automatic annotation. We have that as well, and I'm going to show that to you very quick, and I'll end my demo. So this is a table. This is just sitting in my project. This table is just sitting in my project, okay? I want to publish this into my catalog, all right? And I'm lazy. You see there is a common theme here. I don't want to type any of these terms. I don't want to type any of this. I am going to just click that button because, you know, we all name our tables and columns a certain way. There is a pattern that sort of unfolds within an organization. Customer can be CUST underscore, right? And Q will learn how you name some of these things. Let me just, so yep, it wrote the summary. It is shockingly accurate, let me tell you. Okay, and it learns, which means when you edit this, it will learn. So the next time it has one of these activities, it would be a lot more customized to how you want it. Schema, all of this stuff annotated. I can just accept it and I can publish it and it goes into the catalog. Now everyone in the company can search and discover this data. I'll pause. I'll stop here. I know we are kind of like getting close. So
yeah. So Raghu, few questions. Can it write into the AWS console easily by using Amazon Q? Let's say if you are writing something behind the scene, are we updating business metadata behind the scene with Amazon Data Zone? That's what is happening.
We're not writing this into the glue data catalog. Okay. We're not writing into the glue data. I think that's how I'm taking this question because you mentioned console. Glue data catalog is in console. We're not writing to the glue data catalog. We built more like a different indexed database, a little bit more specialized because this is a business data catalog. So we built on top of glue though. Okay, that's a very important. We built on top of it, but we are not pushing data back into glue. So if you go to console, you're not going to see this in the glue console or anything.
Awesome, Raghu.
Anytime. You bet.
Yeah, this is the correct time to bring the question. SageMaker for Industries available on AWS website. Do you have any blocks that relate? Yeah, I mean, we have few blocks and we are working on a page where we plan to publish anything related to industry solutions by using Amazon SageMaker for Industries. As and when we do the respective industry specific sessions, you will have the respective artifacts will be shared. With this, I will bring in Taz onto the stage where we can talk about the upcoming session, more about Amazon SageMaker for Industries. Taz, what is the objective of SageMaker for Industries series?
Yeah, thanks, Raghav. And Raghu, thank you for taking us through the demo. So folks, the idea behind the SageMaker for Industries program is essentially, actually, let me take a step back. You saw Raghu demonstrate the product over here, right? And one thing I hope that came out of this was the ease of use of working with data across AI and ML use cases, including data processing and SQL analytics. What the SageMaker for Industries program is doing is It's taking that ease of use to the next level and providing a customized and tailored experience for different use cases across different industries. So we understand that every industry is unique in how they do the business, how they work with data. And this program helps you accelerate that experience when you work with SageMaker. You will find this program providing you with several workshops that are tailored to different industries, ready to use templates and solution accelerators, uh, hands-on technical immersion days that you can leverage for your use cases. And then, of course, we'll also supplement this with pre-built patterns that can address your unique sector's requirements over here. So all in all, what we are working towards with this program and with this product is, yes, this product is good for data personas such as data scientists, data engineers, data analysts. Uh, Taking it to the next level is essentially, some of you may have heard of this new persona that is coming out in the data field, is citizen data engineers, citizen data scientists. So these are folks who are not full-time into that role, but they have these needs come up during their day jobs, during their roles within the organizations, who need to work with data in different contexts. So this product along with this program enables those personas as well. So that's what this program is for. So yes, it is tailored for specific industries to jumpstart with the SageMaker, but it also enables the different personas outside of the conventional data personas.
Thank you, Taz. Can you talk about like if say customers want to build some of the industry solutions? Can we? This program is going to provide a workshop so that they can do some quick POCs before getting into the real business problem.
Yes, so hands-on experience is one of the major highlights of this program. So we already have several workshops built across different industries, including healthcare, life sciences, retail, marketing, automotive, manufacturing, FSI. We are working on several more which are in the pipeline. So you will have those hands-on experiences that you can pick up and use it for your tailored industry experience. And as I mentioned, we'll also supplement this with other assets like code repositories that you can leverage. We'll have blogs out there and several other solution accelerators.
Taz, let's say if a customer wanted to learn about new facets of Amazon SageMaker, right, before getting into the building the solutions for their respective industries, do you suggest any hands-on workshops so that they can make their hands dirty to learn the generic features of Amazon SageMaker, which includes Amazon SageMaker Universe Studio?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So again, like I mentioned, you can pick and choose from these workshops that are available to you. These workshops are designed to a particular industry, but at the same time, they also provide you the whole data to AI outcome, right? So you can build this entire pipeline
Okay.
in a POC environment, get the feel for it, understand how it works. These workshops are, again, tailored to the industries, means different industries work with different kinds of data sets. So data set modalities are different. The persona modalities are different. So these workshops keep that in mind, and just picking up one and working through it will give you that experience.
Thank you, Taz. So we have something called SageMaker Engineering Workshop, where customers can use that workshop to learn these new skills, right? Which Raghu illustrated in the demo. Okay.
Yep.
We have left with another 5 minutes or so. We are going to the chart. We will take a few questions. I see there are a few questions. Let's see. We are using Databricks. Please let us know there are any online or virtual deep dive sessions with SageMaker. To answer this question, I don't know who asked. Taz or Raghu, you want to take that question?
Working alongside Databricks, I would imagine.
Yeah, Databricks.
We are working with very good question. The goal of SageMaker, right, is to make our customers successful working with data on AWS whether you're using AWS services like EMR Glue, or you're using even partner services like Databricks and Snowflake, of course, are very popular, right? So first of all, there are many levels of integration, folks. I can be here for like another hour and just talk about connections. Okay, there are many levels of integrations and connections that exist and need to exist between us and the partners, between Unified Studio and the partners. We already have a lot of functionality in terms of integration in place at the data layer. Like I said, remember I said, when you build lake houses on SageMaker, we use it's built on Iceberg. Guess who else builds on Iceberg? Snowflake does, Databricks does. So we have a lot of synergy there at the data layer itself, where we can have these cross compute pollination. Super cool. If you go up a level, then we have the metadata layer, right? Which is kind of like the metadata store. We have connections and integrations with that as well, because guess what? Everyone's using either a Hive compatible metastore, or these days it would be a Iceberg REST-based catalog as well, right? So there is open compatibility there, even at that layer. If you keep going up, now we are talking about JDBC connectors, and I know we have one JDBC connector for Snowflake, and then we're working on the Databricks one. So I guess the point that I'm trying to make here is that integrations with one ecosystem to another is nuanced, but the good news is these integrations can happen at various different levels. So chances are, based on the use case that you have, what you need may already be there, or it may not be there. Okay, and we may be just working with the partner to build those things in.
Yeah, we would recommend working.
Raghav, I just want to add to that question around Raghu. So I think one of the questions that was around Databricks was also trying to see how can they start working on these workshops, get their hands on it. So really quick, if you are, and I believe some of you may already be connected to the LinkedIn Data and Analytics channel, we will be sharing assets, references to these assets, and these will help you get started over there. Other than that, you can also reach out to us through that channel as well. Where we are many a times we also schedule one-to-many customer experience days, so you can join those sessions as well, just to get an experience with the product, but with specialist support from AWS as well. So we'll provide those references on our LinkedIn channel.
Yeah, also you can always work with your account team, AWS Solution Architect, so that they can bring in internal partner accelerator specific to your use case as well. They can bring in all the specialists as well. We'll take one last question, and then we'll talk about upcoming session. Raghu, there is a question about data governance. In case of ingesting sensitive data, for example, it could be a logs, into SageMaker, how can data governance can help ensuring auditability for compliance and security reasons?
Absolutely. I take this as a two-part question. One is PII identification, because data is sensitive. And then second is auditability, which means log analytics. We have many PII identification capabilities on AWS. Macy is one of them. Glue actually has a very cool, easy to use PII identification mechanism as well. So just because you bring data into SageMaker, it automatically doesn't run those type of crawlers, because it costs money to run those.
Raghu, we are at that time.
Oh, we are at time. Okay, so bring in the data, run the PII identification tool that will allow you to tag your data, and then log analytics. It's all in one place. You can definitely build a level of auditability to work with that type of data.
Thank you, Raghu. Thank you all for attending this session. 9:23, there is a session on FSI workshop, how you can derive the insight for the insurance industry. At the same time, 9:23, 12:30 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you learned something from this session. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, folks.